DQ. Check. Have you ever had a dream in the daytime? Had the same dream since the playground. If you made it come true, cause you stay down. Nigga, have you ever really thought about the limelight? In a room full of stars when you shine bright. I'ma make the right move when the time right. Alright. Nigga, have you ever had a dream during the daytime? Had the same dream since the playground. If you made it come true, cause you stay down. Nigga, have you ever really thought about the limelight? In a room full of stars when you shine bright. I'ma make the right move when the time right. Calculated every step, so I can't stand a hater out here hating on. Niggas out here making moves. See a hand out the type of shit they waiting on.
Leland, yep. Tap, tap, tap on your touch screen. Every single day, the same routine. You click refresh once again, and I got the same thing. Tried everything I could do. At this point, I have no clue. I gotta tell myself the truth. I just need an upgrade, an upgrade. I'm model much better than you. Yeah, shiny and new. I gotta tell myself the truth. I just need an upgrade, an upgrade. I'm model much better than you. Yeah, shiny and new. I gotta tell myself the truth. I just need an upgrade.
Y'all pull down, need an upgrade. Swipe left, update, need an upgrade. Y'all pull down, need an upgrade. Swipe left, update,
I
need an
just need
upgrade.
an upgrade.
Y'all pull down, need an upgrade. Swipe left, update, need an upgrade. Y'all pull down, need an upgrade. Swipe left, update, need an upgrade.
Shit, knowing me, I'll probably be in a toxic relationship. You on top of me. If the topic is truly timeless, the conversation should be how I'm and regaining my peace. Shout out to my Virgo women cooking the feast. Got a Pisces, stay in the hood, that girl a freak. Can't lie, certain Geminis ain't for me, but it's on key, cause certain upgrades cost a fee. Yeah, so we can slide and glide. I know you want it. Known to provide the vibes, this shit a moment. Hit the clubhouse, then clubhouse to the morning. Fall in love with the mind, the body is just a bonus. Careful with what I'm searching, Siri be taking notice. All the pictures I'm liking, algorithm is golden. Melanated the lightness, all these women get chosen. Hershey kiss to the forehead, yeah.
Tap, tap, tap on your touch screen. Every single day, the same routine. You click refresh once again, and I got the same thing. Tried everything I could do. At this point, I have no clue. I gotta tell myself the truth. I just need an upgrade, an upgrade. I'm model much better than you. Yeah, shiny and new. I gotta tell myself the truth. I just need an upgrade, an upgrade. I'm model much better than you. Yeah, shiny and new. I gotta tell myself the truth. I just need an upgrade.
Y'all pull down, need an upgrade. Swipe left, update, need an upgrade. Y'all pull down, need an upgrade. Swipe left, update,
I
need an
just need
upgrade.
an upgrade.
Y'all pull down, need an upgrade. Swipe left, update, need an upgrade. Y'all pull down, need an upgrade. Need an upgrade.
Peace to the family. We back at it again. We'll be cammed up shortly. We just wanted to show you our thumbnails, plug in DQ's Texas tour. We're going to talk about that a little bit, a few other topics. Yeah, we're going to talk about that, a few other topics. I got Hitz with me. I got DQ with me. I'm going to do my damnedest to annihilate Hitz on this ChatGPT conversation.
Not gonna happen. Or go ahead.
but yeah, we just getting this muscle memory for going live and talking to the people as much as possible, and we just gonna go right into it. We actually got an exciting it's not 100% confirmed yet, but we are in talks. We had that conversation about COVID-19 earlier in the Dr. Fauci hearings, and one thing I think that all kind of agreed is that, we were laymen having conversations on the subject. So we are in talks of booking a researcher for a conversation on this Saturday evening. So kind of clear your schedules if you're free. I think that's going to be very exciting. I don't mind having conversations, but I'm not an expert in that. So I think it's always good when you can get an expert. So we got an expert coming in on Saturday to join the conversation. Possibly, it's not booked yet. So you'll be on the lookout for that thumbnail. But Hitz DQ, I see y'all in the building. I'm gonna go ahead and set up the show. Talk about that tour when you get a chance. DQ, you can share your screen, and then we'll get right into it.
Already, yeah. How everybody doing? Yeah, let me see. I'm gonna turn my camera on. Right now I'm making a commercial as we speak. So as soon as I get the commercial going, I'm gonna run it. But what's good, everybody? July 6th, Dallas, Texas. Me and my homeboy, we are bringing Devin the Dude, Tum Tum to Trees. It's our first big show in Dallas that me and my brother are throwing ourselves. So this is our promotion company, our own show. So I'm pretty excited about that. But salute to Devin the Dude. He always been a cool person. I know him personally. And then also that next week, July 11th through the 14th, I'm gonna be on tour with Jizza and Inspector Deck on the Texas leg tour. We're gonna start off in Austin. We're gonna hit Houston. Then we're gonna come back on the 14th and be in Dallas, Texas. So yeah, man, y'all stream and Google DQ Hampton. Check my new music out. New music coming with my man Hitz, DJ Architect. You know what I'm saying? It's beautiful right now. But salute to Tri Media. I couldn't do it without them. So yeah.
What's up, everybody? We're here under false pretense that Brass is gonna win some sort of argument or prove some sort of point about what's going on out here in these YouTube streets. I done heard ChatGPT is God. It's an expert. It's not an expert. It's lying to folks. It's hallucinating, making shit up. It's ChatGPT is out here just cutting up, huh? So Brass is here to let me know what the hell is going on. So, but we are gonna learn some things as we go today. Some new stuff that people may not be aware of. All right.
A lot of people know that ChatGPT 5. Woo! It's in the works.
Wait, it's already a 5?
They working on it. They're working on God.
It's probably a 5, 6, and 7.
I seen a post the other day. They was talking about 5. How 5 is going to be so much better than 4, of course. But yeah.
Hopefully less scamming.
So let's get to the ChatGPT.
Oh, so you just want to go right into it? I mean,
no. Actually, you know what? No, you said you had some other things to talk about. I apologize.
Yeah, I mean, you just trying to kill Brass, huh? Kill Brass, huh?
Let's get Brass up out of here. Let's get him out of here, bro. Stop playing games.
Hey, get in line, bro. Just get in line. Get in line. There's a lot of people that want Brass up out of here. Just get in line.
What else going on?
I'm always in full support of Black people making money. Peace to, and this is sports talk. So this is shouts to Justin Jefferson. On,
man.
Yeah, Lord. Hold on. Yeah, I want to get this before we get all into it. You know me, I'm gonna have my sports conversation as best I can. And then also, this is a young Black man getting money. This is about as scientific as it gets. Per Adam Schefter, a record deal. The Vikings and 3-time Pro Bowl wide receiver Justin Jefferson. Hold on 1 second. 1 second.
Adam Schefter. Oh, that's the person who wrote it. Or his
Adam Schefter. Adam Schefter. He per Adam Schefter. Let me get back to it. A record deal. The Vikings and three-time Pro Bowl wide receiver Justin Jefferson reached an agreement on a 4-year, $140 million. Let me say that one more time. 4 years, $140 million contract extension that includes $110 million guaranteed and makes him not only the highest paid wide receiver in NFL history, but the highest paid non-quarterback in NFL history. His deal includes $88.743 million due at signing, the highest non-QB guarantee at signing in NFL history, and it resets the wide receiver market. So, in WME football negotiated and confirmed the deal. So, this is what I want to say. To first off, I'm always happy when hold on one second. No. So, I'm always happy when a young black man can, join that club of getting some real money, some serious money. And I'm always happy when, they do things that are record breaking. I think outside of quarterbacks, football players get disrespected as far as news coverage and notoriety. But I think this is fire. I would never pay a wide receiver that much money. But, I mean, I understand what they're trying to do. It seems like they're kind of going the 49ers model. So get a whole bunch of weapons, get an average quarterback and do what they're doing. But I'm always happy to see that. I want to send one warning out to all Cowboys fans. CeeDee Lamb sent me a text this morning. He told me the price of the brick is going up. So at some point, I think that y'all might want to pay that man before some other wide receiver signs some kind of crazy contract, and y'all are stuck. So what say you? I know Hitz ain't got nothing to say on that unless
I have one question.
Okay,
what's
go
his
ahead.
numbers look like, compared to, obviously they offered him a lot of money. So how good is he really?
Stats wise, the past 3 years, he's the best wide receiver in the league. But CeeDee Lamb, stats wise, the past 3 years, is a very close second, and he beats him in some categories. So they were both kind of in an extension year. The funny thing with CeeDee Lamb is all the wide receivers that were in his class all got extensions before he did. And now Dallas, I don't know what they're doing, but they still haven't paid Micah. They haven't paid Dak Prescott. They haven't paid CeeDee Lamb. And every time a wide receiver gets a new deal, all it's doing is just raising the price that they're eventually going to have to give CeeDee Lamb anyway. And they didn't get any new players. So I don't care. I'm an Eagles fan. But at the end of the day, I just like to – black excellence is not just what happens in school. Shout out to all the graduates, the African-American graduates, all the graduates, but, shed a light on all the African-American graduates that has been graduating. This is that season. I heard Fat Joe got even an honorary doctorate. So shouts to him too. Yeah, shouts out to him too. So y'all speak on it. I just like to bring certain things. These are things I wanted to cover earlier, but talking about Fauci, I didn't even feel like sharing the stage or just some random information. Go ahead, bro.
Yeah, that ain't my
that's not your expertise. Peace, Sister Safa. Peace, Cuban. Cuban says Japan has ChatGPT 11. Probably.
Well,
probably.
Hey, if they got it, then we got it. So that's how that works.
That's fun. Salute to Justin Jefferson, though. Black man getting the money.
I wanted to show another thing I saw, and I want to send love to all the people in Texas. I wanted to show something real quick.
Tell you, Haas, a.k.a. Lone Star State, a.k.a. our own electric grid, a.k.a. our own oil grid, a.k.a. our own military, a.k.a. we can fly a flag the same level as you.
This is the middle. This is the middle of the day.
As it is. Oh, there we go. That's scary. That's scary.
That's the middle of the day in Houston, Texas.
Yep.
I want to look at that one more time. I find that terrifying. Look how light it is.
It doesn't even like come up as dark as it is.
Own
Oh, there we go.
atmosphere.
That's scary.
What
That's
is that?
scary.
Yeah.
Okay, bye-bye.
Big shout out to Texas. I guess they want their own
You know what I'm
atmosphere
saying?
now. They want
So
your own
somebody
satellites and
explain to
everything. Huh?
me. Somebody explain to me, please. How? Well, not somebody. You, DQ. You in Texas. Please explain. It can get that dark in a matter of seconds.
A matter of seconds, man. That's how I go down here. Like the thunderstorms and the severity of thunderstorms down here in Texas is just crazy. Yeah, Houston has his own tropical hurricane style weather. Dallas has some of the most severe thunderstorms, slash tornadoes. I'm from Central Texas, where we in Tornado Alley. So yeah, weather is crazy down here, man. You got to be prepared. Seriously.
Cedric said that's all play.
And I gotta agree with him.
He said that's all
I
play.
got to agree. Them Caribbean.
Y'all ain't seen no weather.
Them Caribbean hurricanes, them category 5s and 6s and 30s, man, please.
He said 6s and 30s.
Yeah, listen. We went through Sandy out here. Sandy was a problem, but that wasn't even like a category 4. It's crazy. But see, the one thing I know about the hurricanes in the Caribbean. The hurricanes in the Caribbean, it's like they don't have it's not necessarily the warning, but I want to say, correct me if I'm saying it wrong, but the infrastructure per se, it's the infrastructure when you get hit with a category 5 hurricane, category 4 hurricane, whatever, it's that, and then it happens repeatedly. You know, one of the things we had a conversation about Haiti about a month ago, and Haiti, one of the reasons why it's one of the poorest countries on the planet is because, you know, once they do get themselves together, an earthquake, some kind of natural disaster destroys it. Again, it's like they have to start almost, you know, fresh. And I think there's another conversation I want to have at some point, but I'm gonna need some help for that one. Matter of fact, this is the go ahead. This is the conversation. Hold on. Are Puerto Ricans
conversation about?
Are Puerto Ricans Caribbean?
Where's Cuban?
Yeah,
Where's Cuban?
Yeah. See,
Talk to me, Cuban.
I can have these conversations too. Yeah. It's not quite.
So do you think?
Hold on. Let's hear him out.
Taino Indians' first native language. The Spaniards came and
she's giving game.
Puerto Rico.
But nobody looks at a Puerto Rican like a Caribbean though.
Well, that's not my fault, bitch. I eat tostones. I eat plants.
I eat tostones? I use tostones?
I'm Caribbean.
No, you're not. You're Spanish. You're Hispanic. You're a Latina woman. Puerto Ricans, Dominicans, Cubans, Mexicans, Hondurans. You're all the same.
Caribbeans are Latinos.
But you're not Caribbean. You're not with the Haitians and the Jamaicans. You're not Trinidad. You're not with them. You don't go to none of their festivals. You don't. And you know that.
Why wouldn't I? Why wouldn't I? I could go to the Puerto Rican parade, but I can't go to the Trinidad. It's so bad. I'm not.
This nigga's telling me that Puerto Rican people are Caribbean. We get it. Y'all are from an island.
We are from the Caribbean.
We know that, but y'all speak Spanish. She's saying she's not Spanish. She's Puerto Rican.
You know, if the Spaniards never enslaved Puerto Rico, we would speak Arawak, which is Taino Indians' first native language. The Spaniards came and
she's giving game.
Puerto Rico.
But nobody looks at a Puerto Rican like a Caribbean though.
Well, that's not my fault, bitch. I eat tostones. I eat plants.
I eat tostones? I use tostones?
Caribbean.
I eat tostones.
You're Spanish. You're Hispanic. You're a Latina woman. Puerto Ricans, Dominicans, Cubans, Mexicans, Hondurans. You're all the same.
Caribbeans are Latinos.
But you're not Caribbean. You're not with the Haitians and the Jamaicans. You're not Trinidad. You're not with them. You don't go to none of their festivals. You don't. And you know that.
Why wouldn't I? Why wouldn't I? I could go to the Puerto Rican parade, but I can't go to the Trinidad.
So that's outside my wheelhouse. That's definitely outside my wheelhouse. But I thought that was an interesting conversation based on the subjects that have been discussed. What do y'all say to that?
Hey, that one is, yeah, that was kind of deep. I want to hear what Cuban got to say. I
If you
defer
don't
to the
get that
expert.
wild, Big Trouble, Little China picture off, if I got to cam up, so do you. I'm about to cam up shortly, so do you. You might want to see Big Trouble, Little China. That terrible, terrible CGI.
That's my master teacher.
It's not an opinion, it's a fact. See, this is a good question. What is Sister Safa saying? Matter of fact, peace to you, Sister Safa. Go ahead, Cuban. We listening. So what? So are Puerto Ricans Caribbean?
Well,
You might know we can hear you. There you go.
You got nervous?
You hear me?
Yeah.
No.
Mm-hmm.
No.
He's
I'm just gonna make
putting
it
it in
simple. Yes.
ChatGPT.
Yeah, I'm putting in ChatGPT, and according to ChatGPT Caribbean version
ChatGPT is not God.
Yeah, they're we're considered Caribbean people.
Boom.
Cuba.
You said we? You're Puerto Rican? You're not Puerto
Cuban.
Rican.
Wow.
Cuban.
The guy said he
You're
mentioned
Cuban.
different. No, I said Cuban. I said that the
Oh,
guy
you're
that was
putting the
speaking.
Puerto Ricans with the Cubans. Okay, go ahead. I got you.
Because the guy speaking, he mentioned a bunch of countries and with the people within those countries, and he said he's basically saying that they were not Caribbean.
So why is he
They
saying
are
that they're
Caribbean.
not Caribbean? Are they trying to
what the word
dominate it?
I've never heard a Cuban or Puerto Rican say they're not Caribbean. Like that's just something I've never heard. And if they did say that, that would be like crazy because they're Caribbean. They're around ocean, the Caribbean Sea. The word is, I mean, it's technically a derogatory name that came about to speak of the Tainos and the Arawaks.
Okay.
It's speaking of like a cannibal.
I think we got a Caribbean that wants to speak to it. Go ahead. We're listening to you. Go ahead.
Yeah. But yeah, these are Caribbean countries. And the truthful people who were the inhabitants of those places were what people call now Indians. So that this is another thing that goes into the whole abo wabo thing, that debunks it. But they would be considered Caribbean. Cuba is the largest Caribbean island of the Greater Antilles. That's just one fun fact or whatever, but it's Caribbean. There's a store right around me, Caribbean supermarket. And what do you see? All these flags around the window. These are all Caribbean countries. So like if you say like Colombia or Honduras, it's Caribbean once it's bordered with the water. Once you're going into the interior, it's not so much of a Caribbean culture. So that's why if you go to West Indian parades, you'll see, or the parade in Harlem, you'll see Hondurans, Afro-Hondurans, Afro-Colombians, right? Because it's bordered by the water where the Africans enslaved were brought into that area.
So I have a question.
But now when you talk about other places, it is the totality would be considered Caribbean.
All right, so I have a question. In New York City, they have a Puerto Rican Day Parade, and they have a Haitian Day Parade, and a West Indian Day Parade. But then they also have a Caribbean Parade. Do Puerto Ricans and Cubans, have you been to the Caribbean Parade?
Absolutely.
Okay, so you go too.
Mm-hmm.
So because if this is so easy, then why is it a problem? Is it a culture issue?
It's a culture.
Then we let Cedric get in there. Mm-hmm. Go ahead, sir.
It's a TikTok issue.
Y'all hear me?
Yep.
Yeah, we can hear you.
Yeah, this is an interesting conversation because I always say I live in the Egypt of the Caribbean. I live in the most north.
That was nice.
The
That was
most
fly.
the
That was
most
real
north
fly.
island of the Caribbean, and it's really an intersection of everybody. So I have 150 plus different nationalities here. I have from Venezuela straight down to Argentina and everything in between, literally everything in between. Most European countries are on my little island. Some African nations, and of course, pretty much everybody from some state in the U.S. Right? So I have a very unique perspective on this topic, and I think about it a lot. In the Caribbean, there are three distinct cultures. There's the English, quote unquote, Caribbean. That's what you consider the West Indies. That's the soca. That's the calypso. That's the reggae. Then you have the French or French orientated, Haitian, Dominica, St. Lucia. Although Dominica is bilingual, St. Lucia also, they're more predominantly Patois. Guadeloupe, Martinique, and they have the Zouk, the compa. So I'm categorizing it music wise for me. Then you have the Latin, Puerto Rico, República Dominicana, lo cubano, salsa, montón, ay, ¿cómo se llama otra vez? I keep forgetting that name. Uh,
Merengue, bachata,
Merengue.
bachata,
um,
montuno. So montuno, you have in Curacao, you have Montero. So it's a whole Latin flavor. Now, the Latin Caribbean has a very close relationship with South America. Curacao, where I also come from, my father's from Curacao. The dialect we speak is Portuguese, Ghanaian language. It's very old, but it's very Latin. The television station, the TV that the people watch on a daily basis is in Spanish, although it's a Dutch island. It's in Spanish. It's Venezuela, Caracas, Venevisión. So growing up multicultural, I learned to speak Spanish very young because every year we go to Curacao. So and in Curacao, I'm listening to Cheyenne, I'm listening to Monudo, I'm listening to Juan Luis Guerra, a whole different flavor of music, right? And the culture that goes with it, tostones, arepas. This is what you eat in the Latin flavors, and it's pretty much all the same. La cafe, I still drink predominantly Cuban or Dominican coffee. That's how I drink coffee, right? So I'm really, when in terms of multicultural, that's me, right? Um, and then you have the English Caribbean, and then you take it, for example, Guyana in South America. The English Guyana is a direct relationship with the rest of the English speaking Caribbean. Guyanese, whether they be of the Indian descent or of the African descent, they fit into English Caribbean culture like a glove. The Surinamese has a relationship with the Dutch islands, and then you have French Guyana that has a very close relationship with the French islands, Guadeloupe, Martinique, Dominica, Saint Lucia. So that's the dynamic. So now Puerto Rico, República Dominicana, Saint Martin, Jamaica, it's all in the Caribbean, but they're distinct cultures, completely unique. Yet there's overlap. You're gonna get rice and peas in every different form throughout the Caribbean down to Honduras. The same fried plantain comes straight up. We all eat avocado with our food, right? So different flavors of the same thing, but still very unique in expressions of culture. That's the Caribbean. So you would get these type of arguments from people that are isolated and don't have a full grasp of the whole Caribbean flavor.
So why? So let me ask you a question. So being that the separation that you're naming only seems to be by culture, why do they make such a fuss because I'm like I said, I'm out here in the tri-state.
No,
The
it's not
Caribbean Day Parade, I've been there.
it's
It's not
education,
yeah, okay,
music.
education.
They're
Okay.
this like you can leave St. Martin speaking English and having hip hop and reggae and soca, but St. Martin is unique. You're gonna hear bachata. You'll hear every at a party in St. Martin. You hear every genre of music that exists in the world. Party music, from rock to pop to soca to dance hall to merengue, bachata, montuno. You hear it all in one party. A DJ here must be able to play all that because there's not
Yeah.
one person here on the island that's going to go to a party and only listen to hip hop. Nobody does that here, or to only dance hall. Nobody does that. A DJ must play every genre of music that exists in the world, even down to the Afro beats now. Like
All right, so what do you say to this comment? Peace, Sean P in the building. I'm gonna speak to two comments. Like Sister Safa, this is a great question. Where I'm from, there are different festivals: the Puerto Rican festival and the Caribbean festival for everyone else. Um, King Sosa, he says, it's literally in the Caribbean. Are we saying people that are indigenous to the Caribbean islands are not Caribbean? Yeah, I think these are just two people on the street having a conversation. For those who didn't see the video, it was a young lady and a young man arguing about, she was saying that she is Caribbean. I want to say he was either Haitian or Jamaican by his accent, or Trini. He could have been Trini. And he was saying that, Puerto Ricans aren't Caribbean people, that you are your own uh, people. And then she defended it by saying she eats tostones, which I thought was super wild. Maybe I'll play that video again. But
yeah, the
I
dude
think
that
it's
is
an interesting conversation.
not Caribbean, he has a very narrow scope because he sees Caribbean as the
That's a good point.
OEC, all the islands that are affiliated and have a connection based on our English and the music and so. But he negates then the French Caribbean because that culture is completely distinct. And then you have the Latin Caribbean. So they're all Caribbean, but just with different flavors. And that is also based on history. It is who was your colonizer, it was who was in control of that territory, right? So you see then the European aspect of what is expressed. You have the Haitian speaks both Patois and French, the Dominica, St. Lucia, you have also Guadeloupe, Martinique. These are French Caribbean islands that have even down to the French side of my island, has a closer relationship with Martinique, Guadeloupe, right? Than and Haiti than the Dutch side of the island. Our affiliation is primarily to the Dutch Caribbean, and then wider English speaking Caribbean, St. Kitts, Nevis, Anguilla, right? Antigua, Barbados. The relationship is closer there because of the English. Now, if you don't speak Spanish and you get on a plane and go to Puerto Rico, which is literally 20 minutes away by plane, literally from where I am, you're immersed in in Latin culture, South American artists, South American concerts, uh, big, huge South American artists like Shakira is in South America, is in Puerto Rico, but hasn't been to St. Martin. The market isn't there like that. You know what I mean? Like
Mhm.
so then you're immersed in something completely different. And if you're from one of these English speaking islands, you don't have the Spanish in you, you would not think you're in the Caribbean. That's the same like leaving St. Martin, going to Curacao. You're still within the Dutch Caribbean, but you're in a different world. They speak Papiamento. There's a very uh, close affiliation with Venezuela and Colombia. You see it on the TV. Then there's this that there's this very heavy European element. So it's Dutch and Spanish and the Papiamento. In St. Martin, it's the English predominantly on both sides. So that's the nuances that you have to experience by actually being submerged in these different islands. Then you'll understand what I mean.
Yeah, I just gotta appreciate the fact that you can do that probably off the top of your head, pause, and literally like just move forward like it was nothing else. So, Mongo said, "Damn, Cedric is the island version of True and he knows his island history." So no, I think that's fire. I think that's fire. I think it's culturally. I don't look at Puerto Ricans as Caribbean, but I understand that they are. It's just, it's the same way I don't look at Haitians as Jamaicans. I don't look at. I mean, everybody's their individual people, but as far as to put them all into one group, they would all have to fall technically under Caribbean. But I know for a fact in New York City, the Puerto Rican section, there's Puerto Rican sections, there's Caribbean sections, there's Cuban sections, Dominican sections.
Yeah, but you see, like the Cuban section, and the Dominican section, and the Puerto Rican section. In the Caribbean, we call that the Latin section. We'll add Curacao to that predominantly as well. Like put Curacao in there. That's the Latin Caribbean. And then you have the English Caribbean. That's the dancehall. That's the soca. But that's the larger portion of islands. Why the English conquered the most islands, right? They ruled the most islands. So the English net was cast wider. So you have from Trinidad, Barbados, come right up, right? The predominant language spoken in the Caribbean is English. And then you have the smallest group, which is the French Caribbean, which people tend to forget, like St. Lucia, Dominica, they're Creole based. They speak English, but they predominantly speak Patois and are French related, right? That's their colonial past. Then you have Guadeloupe, Martinique. They're very directly related directly related to France. Also is the French side of my island. And you would see that distinction on one little island. There's a cultural difference between the Dutch and the French side based on our colonial past. And so people tend to forget the French Caribbean. But there are three distinct cultural groupings with their underlying differences, of course. But there are three distinct cultural groupings in the Caribbean, which is English, French, and Spanish. And that is mirrored in Latin America. Again, Guyana, quote unquote British Guyana, has a relationship intertwined in the Caribbean with this English speaking Caribbean. They're part of the OECS. We have a lot of Guyanese in St. Martin. They spread all through the Caribbean. Jamaica has a even closer relationship. Their sound class system, the way they embrace their music is almost identical. Right? And then, of course, again, under that, you have the chutney music, which is a fusion of authentic East Indian and Caribbean music, which is very cool. Trinidad does it as well. It's called chutney. It's a soca with Indian flavor. But that's unique to that particular grouping of people. But in a broader aspect, there's a direct relationship with Jamaican culture. And then you have, for example, the Caribbean, the Latin Caribbean, fits perfectly in South America. Music, the artists that they share, the languages, a lot of the foods, the ways prepared, right, across the Latin Caribbean is pretty much the same. You see that here when the South Americans come, the Dominicans, the Dominicans, the Colombianos, and the Venezuelans, they sort of merge together because they have a similar underlying culture. There are differences, especially if you speak the language, you can hear the nuances and how things are expressed, but they share that, so they identify with each other, which is yeah, Caribbean life.
See, y'all got a culture lesson. We looked at some maps, learned all type of stuff. We learned about the oppressors, how they moved through this Western Hemisphere. We heard from Cuban. We heard from Sid. People versed in that type of information.
Yeah, and we're gonna get into this commercial right before I whoop his ass on this topic.
Whatever.
His new name is Deontay Wilder for today. All right, we back. So let's get right into it. This shouldn't take very long. Um, this is light work. I'm not gonna play with my food at all. Um, so in the Discord, just so y'all know where this conversation is coming from. In the Discord, Sosa remind me, this is like 3 days ago, 3 or 4 days ago. We had a conversation, and it was something about ChatGPT. Somebody can go on the Discord and look it up. But the conversation kind of leaned towards the infallibility of ChatGPT. And one of the things that I've begun to notice is that, we were calling it AI, we were calling it Allen Iverson. Then we started calling it God, right? And then what I noticed is, and even I'm guilty of this a lot. I did it earlier. That we started believing that ChatGPT is God, which God's imperfect, meaning you're typing queries in, you're listening or trying to get some information, and the information you get back, you think that I'm gonna just run to the press with this information as if it's 100% correct. So I read a couple of articles because that always troubled me to an extent, and I had never really seen it make any mistakes. That's a nice time sigh by Hitz. The I'd never really seen it make that many mistakes, or any mistakes really. Okay, the new commercial, yeah, uploaded. I'll play it in a minute. But then I started hearing these terms: hallucination. ChatGPT has biases. So then I started looking it up. Just want to see, because I was one of the first people, I think, that I called it God before I heard somebody else say it. And the one thing I don't ever want to do is, while I understand it's a tool, I think Cedric and his parents probably told him the same thing my father told me, which is a hammer can hit a nail or it can bust your head open. So I think it's time to have a real conversation. From what I understand, a lot of people are talking about this now with ChatGPT 4, and then I think there's like ChatGPT 4 Plus. Now that I notice that there are some issues with ChatGPT, and then Hitz, surprisingly, because he usually doesn't challenge this kingdom, that he said, I don't think you want to go live and say that. So I said, I'm definitely will go live. I'm the person that tells everybody to go live to say, whatever arguments they got. So this is me and Hitz having a conversation. I'm gonna win, but we'll see where this goes, and we'll see how badly. Maybe I'll let up towards the end. And Mongo says I'm still gonna use it, and I'm gonna use it, right? He said I'm your hated asshole, but I'm still gonna use it. But I just think that to believe that it's 100% infallible, that's the only thing that I'm looking to show today. Because when you're saying something is God, you're saying that it's perfect. And I definitely don't think it's perfect. I think it's a tool. I think it's very helpful. What say you, Hitz?
Well, I'm glad you were clear that you're the one who made up the term that it was God, right?
Mm-hmm.
And it's like a running joke now. And also to add to what you were saying, there different platforms, people are talking about it being wrong, being incorrect. You can't use it for research, certain ways. You can't use it for it's not an expert. All of these things that it wasn't set it that it didn't set out to be. So that's why the argument, from that point doesn't make sense, because the hallucinations were noticed when they created it. Like they have white
Mm-hmm.
papers on that topic, right? So that that was part of their white paper that they put out about it when they're explaining. And actually, let me share the screen. I
Yeah,
was
what's a
trying to
white paper?
where it's I guess it's like a description of in this case chat gpt, the information about the model, um but it's like an information paper, that you write about a process or your product or something. So let me just share the screen real quick.
Okay.
And these are, they stamp them to the current or most current. Let's see. Let's do this. But the main information is, I know it's going to be hard to read. Let me see if I can zoom in. I'm on a, I don't like this keyboard.
What is this from?
All right, hold on. I'm going to go to the top.
Okay.
From Google Gemini to OpenAI, a survey of reshaping generative artificial intelligence research landscape. It's basically a survey
This is
about,
from December, right?
this one might be from, we're on the left. Yeah. But this is just
Okay.
an updated version, right? Or
Mm-hmm.
it encompasses all of the information also prior to it. So hallucination, one of their goals is, here we go right here. Now, this is a word I spoke to you about earlier, all right? Fine tuning.
Fine tuning, yep.
Fine tuning, and then we'll get into what an actual model is in a little while too, because I think that's something else people may have some confusion about. They want to work on their fine tuning of the language models, hallucination reduction, and alignment across different LLMs. There's more than one language model. Like Google has one, um, Llama has one. And I have a list of them somewhere too. But hallucination was a part of the process, maybe not expected or not that they wanted. It was a result of some of, using the language models.
So
And
what
the
is
goal,
hallucination for the people that don't know?
hallucination, from what I remember, from any of this I read, is basically if the language model cannot um come up with the answer, it will, quote unquote, give it its best shot. And that's a, yeah, no, literally that's what it is. And
Wow.
there's reasons why, right? And that again goes back to,
Wait, go
us
back
under,
to that. Go back to that.
what
Right
down
there.
here.
Hold on. Hallucination reduction is a persistent challenge in LLMs. What is LLM?
Large language models.
Okay.
And
Characterized by the
go
Go ahead.
ahead. Go ahead.
Characterized by the generation of confident but factually incorrect information.
So stop right there. See, confident, the best that it can do, but it's not factually because of whatever reason it couldn't answer the prompt, right? Language models. This is something that these are, sounds funny, but again,
No, no, I'm
this was,
laughing at Sean's comment.
I
He
know,
said
well, I
ChatGPT
can't
failed the
see that.
bar.
Yeah.
No, no, I'm taking care of it while you're going.
Um,
Go ahead.
what so they knew about the hallucinations early on, right? And a language model is pretty much a set of data that gets trained, and it has to come up with certain parameters to give you an answer, right? That's uh natural language. That's the
Hmm.
big difference between an LLM or a chat bot and Google. These are trained to try to give you a human like realistic answer in a, in a conversational pattern. It's not
Hmm.
just going to give you, it's not like math. 1 + 1 is 2. That's why you can continue the conversation with it. And through this process of training it, it's not like, I heard some people say they dump a bunch of information in these things and they just let it memorize it. Then you type in a question, it goes in and plucks out the answer. That's not how language works. And because the goal is to make it a natural language product, it has to understand, or for lack of better terms,
Hmm.
understanding your context when you ask it a question, and then respond to you in a manner that's naturally, you know supposed to be human language based, right? So that's the difference. So it has to, process words that may mean several different things. It has to process the words that come before it, the words that may come after it, the each context of each word, and give you the best answer. So that's what makes it complicated. That's what makes it cool, because you can again, you can conversate with it. It will remember your prior conversations with it, and this is just prompt answer. And GPT, the T in that,
Stay right there. Stay right there. I want to see something
but
because that next
okay,
sentence was a little tough too.
okay, hold on,
Make the
hold,
text larger if you could,
hold on. And then there's a part in
just for
here.
the chat.
Okay, go ahead.
Okay, go ahead. I'm just leave it right there though. I
No,
want to
no,
because that
okay,
next sentence is important.
all right. Oh no, no, read it. Go ahead, because
Okay,
I don't want to bore
so
everybody to death.
strategies such as confidence penalty regularization during fine tuning have been implemented to mitigate overconfidence and improve accuracy. But now this is the part that's a little scary, especially because this is used in the Egypt conversation, right? The Black Egypt conversation, and is used in a lot of these topics that are cultural. It says, despite these efforts, the complexity of human language and the breadth of topics make completely eradicating hallucinations a daunting task, especially in culturally sensitive contexts. Now, I could be reading that wrong.
Now, hold on. No, that because you're going to end up in the bias category. But let's just
Okay,
deal
go
with
ahead.
this right here.
Go ahead.
The process of you inputting a prompt, which
Mm-hmm.
is text, and the machine responding in text in a
Okay.
in human language format and conversational format. That's why, that's where the T in GPT comes from. Transform. It's transforming your prompt into a natural answer back to you. Now, if I show
Okay.
you a chart of all of the like neural, and that's networks and how they train it, it's all like dry stuff. But it's
Right.
basically, and here's something else that you brought up. Oh, let's see. Nope, right
So
here.
now, why did they say
No, no,
culturally
no, no. Here,
sensitive?
here we go. Fine tuning,
Okay.
right?
Okay.
Fine tuning has to do that can be fine tuning biases out of it.
Hitz
It
El
could be,
Gato is messing up.
what's that? Oh, my
I don't know,
screen is.
just an El Gato thing on your thumbnail, but go ahead.
Oh, hold on. It's probably jumping around. Oh no, that's my camera over there. Yeah, fine tuning is based on the information that you're trying to that you're trying to retrieve from it. If I'm a doctor and I want to use a large language model based on all of my patients information, and I just want to get out the information about people with high blood pressure over the age of blah blah blah,
Mm-hmm.
that's where fine tuning comes in for a doctor. Fine tuning for a contractor or an engineer may be different. A mathematician, a scientist, all of that is going to be different. That's where fine tuning comes in. These
Mm-hmm.
are general language models. So output, like just a simple word like output. Output can mean three or four different things depending on the context. That's where hallucinations are going to come in, because it has to pick an answer. It has to choose one of those contexts to reply to you. So the context it chooses may not be the context you meant it in. That's where the importance of what's pre, the words that come before it, the words that come after it, those are all factored in to these models training and how they come up with the answer. So those things, see, fine tuning is basically getting it to give you the proper context for your answer. Now that sounds easy. Well, I asked it a simple question. Why couldn't it give me a simple answer? Well, it's doing uh, like millions of computations in what, a matter of 2 or 3 seconds to
Mm-hmm.
try to and to try to respond to you in a human like manner. So that was some of the goals that they set it up for, right? But the original LLMs are all pretty much general information. They're not, they, you fine tune them later on. You're doing a mode of fine tuning when you put your prompt in and you're more specific, or you re-ask the questions, or you ask for clarity, or you're actually fine tuning it by asking it more questions. to get you the context of the answer that you want. So if we understand how they work, a hallucination is not that uncommon, especially when they knew about it from the beginning.
Hmm.
It's stated on the website and on the GPTs. And uh uh again, it's how they actually work. They have to pick an answer pretty much to give you. And to you, it's the wrong answer, you know. In the computer system, it's not the right context. That word that was prior to outputs, it didn't pick that up right, or what it did pick up wasn't the context that you were referring to.
So what
So
you're saying is that ChatGPT
mhm.
sometimes is not just wrong; it's confidently wrong.
Yeah, because it has to give you an
No, no,
answer.
no, no. Stay right there.
I no,
Yes,
no,
you're saying
because
yes. I just want to know yes or no, and then say
listen,
whatever you want.
yes,
Okay.
because you're asking for an answer. You can tell it if you don't know, say you don't know. I don't know what answer. It depends on the topic. But
Right.
that's in general how they work. Another thing, these language models,
Hmm.
people had a problem with it's only dated to so and so, right? They can only train it pretty much with static data. Like they can't keep training it and throwing new data in it while it's training. That's why you have 3.5, 4 point, whatever the new one is. Claude has one, Claude Plus, Gemini. They're retraining it with new information in it, not adding it as it's training. Like those are two different processes. If you understand what I'm saying, they have to
No,
give
I
it
understand where you're
data.
coming.
They have to let it, train on that. And there's 3 levels of training. They do it as supervised, then something like reward based. I think we saw that somewhere how they try to fine tune it, the different strategies, penalty, regularization.
Share the link of this in the chat when you get a chance.
Yeah, this is a paper. I gotta find it's in my drive somewhere. But yeah,
Okay.
that's why they have new models all the time. If not,
Right.
it would be like Google. Google's looking for what the most uh 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 popular link to the question that you ask it, or the prompt that you put in there. This is not doing that. This is actually trying to look at your prompt and use context and look at the information that it already has. It's like a baby, pretty much. Babies' brains are learning as they go, and they develop processes with
Hold
by
on.
their
So if
surrounding.
if ChatGPT is learning as it goes,
No,
then it might not be the best tool to use as something that's infallible, like God,
yeah. So why
right?
did you call it God?
No, no, I no, no,
I'm not,
no,
yeah,
no.
yeah.
I
No,
think
no, no. Actually, and again, if people understood what it was doing, right, which is with any technology, we get it in our
mhm,
hand and we use it like a tool, and sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. But there's reasons why it doesn't work, and that's what people are interested in, the boring shit and reading this stuff and trying to figure out how it works. If you look at a neural network, like just for your
mhm,
brain, how your
right,
brain works, it's a similar process. Your eyes take in an image, your ears take in sounds, and all of these things have to get uh, 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 ran through your brain. Then it has to come out in the language you're speaking to someone. You're looking at someone, someone's talking to you. You
let me
hear a
share my screen when
sound.
you
It,
get a
it all
chance.
has to be processed. So that's what they're trying to achieve, right? They're trying
Right.
to, and also wherever it went,
Hmm.
have it be used in a conversational manner. And I think that's the part a lot of people don't understand, like how difficult that is. Like to give you an answer is one thing. They didn't want it to just give you an answer. It's not a calculator. They want it to be able to converse with you. And I think somebody said earlier they want a robot that like iRobot. If you want an auto driving car, these things have to work with you. They have to
Hmm.
work with their surroundings. They have to work with whatever box you put it in, like we do, to the best of our ability. That's what they're trying to make it do. That's why it's called language, And again, the T in transformer is trying to, conversate with you.
Right.
And so hallucinations, that was something they knew early on. biased. Any information is going to have a bias. If there's a lack of information, that's a bias pretty much against people's information that you left out, right? So that's why you have new models, 3, 3.5, 4. Those are all new models.
Mhm.
They should be better at at multimodal functions, which now you have text to image, you have image to text, you have text to video, you have the AIs making sound, music off of a prompt. It's still the same method, but just put across different mediums, images, music, documents. We could drop this in there, have it summarize it in certain ways. Math problems. I think somebody said it was having trouble with math.
Yeah, it
Yeah,
was.
it was. Now, if a person typed in math, maybe it would give it a issue. If you took a screenshot of a math problem and placed it in there, you may get better results. Different models handle different issues better. Like Gemini may handle PDFs better than ChatGPT. Uh, Llama or Claude may handle math or images better, not PDF, but actual photo PNGs or JPEGs better than another one. So they all have their strengths and weaknesses, but they're all based on the same um, process of trying to speak to you in a conversational manner until you get into the fine tuning aspect where you want it to deal with a set structure of data, whether it's for your business, it's for your personal, information, whether topics on anything. You know, if you're in school for I'm in school for cybersecurity, so I would fine tune mine for a student, 2 cybersecurity, 3 you know any other variations of reasons. So that's where the fine tuning comes in. So more likely to get a better answer based on what I want to get out of it. So if that, hopefully, like I said, it's dry stuff, but understanding how they works is probably will get rid of all of the miscommunication about it. No, it's not God, like you say.
I'm not the only. I just started it. I'm just not the only
The
person.
and the purpose of it only being each model only being trained to a certain date has way more benefit than to keep adding the very latest information in there. If you want to know who won the game last night, just go on Google or go to the NBA channel, watch it, or ESPN. That's not how these things are set up to work. They have to be trained. They have to be improved. When they're wrong, they have ways. Then there's another bias. If are people using other people's information in here? So that was another issue where they intellectual property. It has all the books in the library, it has all the videos on YouTube, it has all the PDFs. Is that people's personal property, right?
Uh-huh.
So there's ways to get around that.
Mhm.
They have, here you go, ethical, safety, scalability.
Let me get in there.
So okay, yeah. So let's just go back and then let's go back to God and see if you learned anything about that.
Okay, let's get so. My whole theory, right, is that it's a tool, and like my father said, I'm a Southern boy. Peace to you, peace to everybody in the chat. Um, and if somebody could take over, posting the comments and stuff, we could, because I'm about to read for a little bit. So one of the things that scared me, right? Me and Sosa used to talk about this all the time, how ChatGPT was God. And in Dayton, Ohio, on January 2024, a recent study from Purdue University found that ChatGPT, a popular AI app, presents wrong answers 52% of the time. And I'm going to let that marinate. A recent study from Purdue University found that ChatGPT, a popular AI app, presents wrong answers 52% of the time. The findings follow researchers asking the program questions from a popular computer programmer website. Incorrect answers were delivered to more than half the questions. Quote, ChatGPT may generate incorrect information anytime and anywhere. Tianyi Zhang, assistant professor at Purdue University. Following the results of the study, Zhang advises the artificial intelligence tool should be used sparingly and not for complex tasks. I think it is not a bad idea to get inspiration from ChatGPT, but if you want to make an important decision, you need to be very careful. Universities like Purdue are working to educate students and staff about the benefits and drawbacks of AI. He urges students as well as staff to double check their work as they have found that ChatGPT might scramble to find answers to information that it does not have knowledge of. This leads to incorrect information and wrong answers being delivered to end users. I'm going to link this in the chat if y'all want to read the whole article. I'm just reading bits and pieces. What we are clearly stressing is to not rely so heavily on ChatGPT because we now know that it is able to have this process called hallucination, like you said. So it just sort of randomly generates information when it realizes it's running out of things it does know. It'll start making things up or making up things. Right? Says educators and students should utilize and learn from these type of tools, relying on them as a learning aid rather than a robot that's going to do all of your work. So I don't think that there is a reason not to be able to write something, turn it to ChatGPT, and then ask it to improve the quality of that writing, because in a way that helps you understand maybe there was a deficiency of what I was doing and I'm learning how to write that much better. So they'll be exploring the education a lot further. So I was one of the people, per se, that I guess kind of went with, when in doubt, ask ChatGPT. Let me link this article. When in doubt, ask ChatGPT. But one of the things that even I began to realize is that while it may, I don't even know what it is to hallucinate, but I know that this is used in a lot of conversations. It's used in a lot of conversations. It's used in a lot of ChatGPT conversations, whatever that means. And what'll happen is people just fall back and just use ChatGPT. When in doubt, I don't know it, just use ChatGPT. So I asked ChatGPT earlier, it's an AI tool, right? So we should be able to talk to it. So I just asked AI, or I asked God, technically, do you make mistakes? And it readily admitted that it does, and then it admitted a lot of fallacies. So I just want you to speak to some of the things that they said it had an issue with. So I'm gonna share my screen.
Hold on, I'm gonna share mine too when you get done.
Okay.
Also, this is freestyle, y'all.
Oh yeah, no, we're not. We're just having this is just a conversation. Thank you, Hitz. Hold on, give me 1 second, because that's a grounded. If y'all take this and use this on beating up somebody else's information, that's on you. If y'all take this and say that somehow Tribe Media said that it's trash, that's on y'all. We don't really get into that game. We had a great Fauci conversation, the subcommittee hearings on Fauci earlier, and we're not into that particular part of it. Hopefully this will spur you guys to do your own research, but we like to ask questions and have good conversation. So I asked ChatGPT to give me a compelling argument against the use of itself for research purposes. I don't know. Let's see if it hallucinated. It says one of the most significant drawbacks of using ChatGPT for research is the lack of verifiability and accountability. While the model can generate human-like text and provide information on a wide range of topics, it does not have a mechanism for verifying the accuracy of the information that it provides. So this poses some risks, misinformation, and inaccuracies. ChatGPT can inadvertently generate and propagate misinformation. Now, it's funny that I'm asking ChatGPT. See, this is where I mean the hypocrisy. This is where I'm a hypocrite. I'm asking ChatGPT. My theory is that it doesn't always get it right, and I'm asking ChatGPT how it gets it wrong, which is strange, but I don't know. It's just something I thought to do in conversation. The information it provides is based on patterns and data it has been trained on, which may include outdated, incorrect, or biased sources, which shocked me because I didn't think that it would necessarily be biased, but it has biases. It has a lack of source attribution. The model does not consistently cite sources or provide references for the information it generates, making it challenging to verify the origins. But I think there's other sites, and you could get into those. I think Mongo Slade was talking to me about Perplexity and a couple other sites. So there's other sites for those things too. But we're just talking about ChatGPT at the moment. And then it says no original research or analysis. ChatGPT cannot conduct original research or analysis. It can only provide information based on existing data it has been trained on. Research often involves generating new data and performing experiments. So there's ethical and privacy concerns. You guys could search it. If you have ChatGPT 4, I would say go do that yourself. Bias and fairness, intellectual property issues. It may inadvertently replicate or paraphrase copyrighted material, leading to potential intellectual property disputes. Reliability and consistency, inconsistent output. The responses generated by ChatGPT 4 can vary based on the phrasing of the input query. Now, I've heard people say before that ChatGPT is only as effective as the questions that you ask it. And at this point, I would actually have to agree on that. And then this is the one that is important. Over-reliance on AI. Relying too heavily on AI tools like ChatGPT 4 can lead to decrease in critical thinking and analytical skills amongst researchers. It is essential for researchers to engage deeply with their subjects, analyze data critically, and draw informed conclusions rather than relying solely on AI-generated content. So in conclusion, ChatGPT 4 is a powerful tool with many potential applications. Its research should be approached with caution. The lack of verifiability, accountability, and the potential for ethical and privacy issues make it an unreliable primary source for research purposes. Researchers should prioritize traditional peer-reviewed sources and use AI tools like ChatGPT 4 as supplementary aids rather than primary research tools. What say the panel? What say the chat? Go ahead. Take it. Y'all do what y'all want to do with it. Listen, I know y'all can kill me. I'm just a messenger. ChatGPT just killed itself. Go ahead, Sarah.
I appreciate that line of questioning because it highlights the fallacy and the straw man that has been taking place over the last couple of days. Make this analogy quickly for a second. You have a Boeing 747, which is an aircraft, which is a tool. It takes you from place to place. But to fly it, you need to be a pilot. To understand how to use that tool efficiently, you need to have the background training. What I'm saying is, ChatGPT summarizes it. It provides you with a easier flow of information that you're supposed to already know. Let's get there. So
say that again. Say that from me, sir.
It summarizes, it formulates, it puts together information that you already know. So how it has been used, especially by the PK, is a verifying tool of everything we just said.
Okay.
That's it. That's the only way you use ChatGPT. Now, in my professional setting, for example, when I do not want to think of how that quick formula is done again, I'll ask ChatGPT. When I see it, I go, yeah, that's it. So I'm not asking it to do my work for me. What I'm asking it to do is summarize that or formulate this letter for me. And sometimes I say, no, I don't know. No, that's not professional enough. Come on, give me some more input on this particular point. I already I'm versed in the information that I'm requesting it to summarize. It's a tool. That's it. Now, what ChatGPT highlighted is the fallacy that we've been talking about. Research. Research. We use this word in this community very loosely. Nobody around here does research. We go in and we dig up the data, we compile it, and we regurgitate the work that's already been done. Research is being done by people who are producing new information. That's usually at the PhD level. Let's get serious. Outside of that, it's all conversation. I don't joke with this stuff. Maybe because of the very specific and very tight scientific field that I come from, which is biochemistry, I don't play with these terms, with the level of work that you have to put in to reach to these level of degrees. To use the word research, I did research when I was doing my internship. I developed a staining for the COX2 for the COX2 protein in the gut, which is an indicator of colon cancer.
Okay.
It's a research project, and that little bitty project was part of a whole major grant outside of me. So that little piece of work that I did was part of a whole bigger project. I wrote my analysis, I wrote my summary, and I presented it. Boom. That's part of earning your degree. But that isn't what you quote unquote research. It was a little piece in a whole bigger research project. Different departments doing different things. And I had just that little section. So I
So
understand
I want to
the
give
research.
you. Go ahead, Seth. I want to now. Let me jump in when you're done. Go ahead.
Right? Nobody around here can talk about doing research, quote unquote, with ChatGPT. What did they talk about? Primary evidence in the field, hypothesis based on the information that is there, and the work necessary to verify your hypothesis, which adds to the body of knowledge on a particular subject. We're not talking about ChatGPT. So when these people jump up because of us using ChatGPT to verify what we said in contention to their position, that's not research. That's established information that we're verifying. It's a nicer way of using wiki. Let's get serious.
All right. I think
So you're saying. So wait. I want to say one thing. So are you saying that ChatGPT is the equivalent of an upgrade to Wikipedia?
Yeah, pretty
Okay.
much.
okay, so let's clean some of that up, right?
Here we go.
No, I'm not. No, I'm not saying. No, I'm not saying anything against what
Peace
anyone
to you.
said.
So what's going on?
I'm not saying anything against what anyone said, right?
Okay.
Because uh, if
Feed
if
it
this
off it.
is if this is
Go ahead.
based on and the attempt is to, that means it's gonna have mistakes just by nature of its development because it's based on a multi-layered artificial neural network inspired by human brains, right? So, and let's just go over some things that we were already clear on. They knew about the hallucinations. Um, the process of developing new models is to make them better. Nothing is based off like no one's driving a Model T Ford right now. They would say, "Oh, it's not good for the environment. It's unsafe. It's all of these others. It's not efficient." So that's why they make new models. Here are some reasons why it's not like Google and it's not like Wikipedia. Wikipedia actually probably now uses language models in the background that are fine tuned for whatever Wikipedia wants to use them for, as many other corporations are. So it's a step towards what? What is their goal? Artificial general intelligence, which is an advanced form of artificial intelligence that would be capable of performing any intellectual task that a human can do. This goes back to all of the efforts to have artificial intelligence is to do what we do better, probably safer, and to do what the hell we want it to do. So that's the goal. Like again, this is from the beginning. If we didn't understand that at the beginning, that's different. How quickly it was rolled out and the competition started between the companies like Meta, Google, Nvidia, uh, 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 all of these companies, OpenAI, Microsoft, is we probably got a lot of this stuff a lot sooner than we should have. There's books on
Right.
it. There's videos on it. They now it's going to be not too late for the court hearings and the governmental hearings about the legality of it. Other countries
Mhm.
have their own rules about it. So it literally hit the web so fast that people either understood it at a very basic level, which is fine, or they ignored it, or they used and relied upon it. There's nothing wrong with relying upon something that you understand and know how to use. That's the problem. And I'm not saying no one didn't know how to use it. We went quickly from conversating with people asking it to write them a poem, write them a job offer, clean up this email that I'm writing, basic stuff like that, to having it design art for us, music for us, deal with the intricacies of our personal or professional business, like in a matter of months. So this is
Mhm.
just some of the technical information outside of that white paper. That shit is super dry. 100 billion neurons over 100 layers and 100 trillion synapses. Like, again, they're trying to base this off the human brain. 26 languages, 25,000 words, and 52 pages of text at a time it can process.
Okay.
Code. So communication, that's something we spoke about before.
Mhm.
Based on the human brains, how we communicate, how we ask questions, how we answer questions, in the method that we do through synapses and neurons, and a lot of it all at one time. 25,000 words. Code.
Now it says inspired by the human brain, so it's a predictive model because that's what the human brain is.
Well, no, probably more on the network side, how the brain's network is set up, and that I think there's an image of it further down. Here's
Okay.
some, and
And
says
then I'm gonna let Sosa get in there when you're done.
yeah, and here's some of the things that Cedric said it can do. And what we were clear about earlier, it's a conversational interface, and anybody who understands technology, that's a huge thing. So some of us
Mhm.
can appreciate this alone. Language translation, sentiment analysis. Again, that's that part for context, understanding context and tone of more human like text summarization, personalization, content creation. That's the multimodal. This is all look like it's based on text, but now we know it can make images, music, things of that nature. Customer support, that stuff that's fine tuned for what you want it to do, or your customer base, or the products you're selling. Data analysis, that's huge. Companies, the faster you can analyze data, the more profitable you probably are. If you're a doctor or a healthcare company or biochemistry, you can come up with cures quicker if you can analyze data quicker and efficiently. Large volumes, again, that's and integration, that's the human integration back and forth.
Do they advertise? Do the developers advertise? Because you read these circles all the time. I just misspelled Sid's name. I can't do that. Do the advertisers or not the advertisers, the developers of ChatGPT, did they ever say that it was infallible?
That's what a hallucination is.
No, I mean,
And
but what did
yeah,
they say?
yeah,
Like, what do the developers say?
that's what we were looking at for. Like, this thing is how many
So
pages
that thing,
long?
the page that you were given,
Yeah, no, I
the
just
thing
put
that
in
you
the
were giving us
word.
before, that's from the researchers.
Yeah, I just put in the
Okay.
word hallucination. If you go to their white papers, it's going to give you the similar information, which is down here. Well, actually, I
I
don't have
think
it.
white papers is
Yeah, I don't
culturally
have that
biased, but
screen up no
moving
more.
forward.
Actually, I don't even have it up. It's like super technical shit that like regular people
No,
like
I
us
get
don't
you. I
read.
get what you're saying, but
That
sometimes it's
regular
all right
people
to
like
be
us
technical.
don't read.
Right. I watched the subcommittee hearings on COVID-19, its uses, the transparency. So I trust me, I understand there's a lot of things people don't use. Let me get Sosa in there real quick. Go ahead, Sosa.
Okay, I'm saying like the study piece. The study with the 52% incorrect. Is it the same study that I'm looking at in terms of coding? Because that's totally different. You know what I'm saying? Because if you say ChatGPT gets it wrong 52% of the time, then that's a big difference in terms of when you're talking about coding. Because the article that I see, with 52% of the time deal with programmers who are relying on ChatGPT for coding. That's a different context as to how any of us use ChatGPT. That's a whole nother.
No. Just so we clear, Sosa, and peace to you. I don't want this to be a I don't know how everybody uses ChatGPT. I don't know what they use it for. I've seen it used in arguments. I have seen, and I agree with Sean on that, I have seen people use it as research. I've seen it live. I've seen people arguing it back and forth live with research. Mine is not whether it's wrong for coding, whether what people are doing, right? Even though I've seen those things. My main thing is, and you know this, because I used to say it to you, we joked about it, is that it's God, meaning that it cannot get anything wrong. So when I start seeing things like that it will confidently, when it doesn't know, it'll confidently just make something up. That's not coding. That's like, and it's said in culturally sensitive context. So my point, my argument against Hitz, and it's not really like a debate. We just talking. My thing is that it does get things wrong.
Is that the 52%?
The 50%, I look into
it. Does get
I look further into
wrong. Yeah, we'll get it wrong. Yeah. Like that's that.
Yeah. But I think that's scary too.
It's made by humans.
The coding wrong.
But also
coding is more complex. They're like, a more complex type of
for a computer.
But they might not be there because they're just not there yet. As opposed to
no. Listen to what I'm saying. For a computer, coding is complex. Like a AI tool, you think is complex?
Again, I think you're missing one of the main points, and this is.
I'm gonna look that up for you though.
It's natural language. Again, when you type a prompt in there, it's literally trying to contextualize every word to be conversational with you. Whether
it was coding questions. It was coding questions.
Even if you write, if you write Python in there, it has to determine that you don't mean a snake. That it has to, and I'm not sticking up for it. I'm just telling you how it works. It has to give context to that word, like Python. Okay, there's coding Python. There's a snake Python. There's probably a company called Python. There's a vehicle called Python. It has to contextualize the words in the prompt to respond to you. So it can miss, and that's where these trainings come in. That's what, if you look at the screen, they supervise learning, how they train them, pre-train, reinforcement training. This sounds like something you do, to a person, but that's what they're doing with the computer systems. And that's why you can't have it like a certain language model. You keep dumping new data in it while it's training. It has to get through that data, become good at understanding all that data to the best of its ability. Then you can move on to the next bigger model, which I think we're now on 4.0. But
yeah, 4.0.
And this is just another image of how they try to emulate how the brain works. I'm not a brain person, but neurons, synapses. And again, this is something, it's a chart, but it's a basic physical description of what it's trying to do. You're inputting data. It's going to go through all of these processes to output a conversational response, right? So if you dump something in this while this is going through this process, you're going to have to start all over. Knowing the input data, right, and the suspected answers you want helps also, because your input data is going to be more specific. These neurons in here can change, because now Brass has a coconut business. This is based on shipping and receiving. This is based on,
I don't like coconuts.
Weather and temperature. This is based on shipping lines and rates of diesel fuel and all of that. That's where this becomes more important. The center. I don't have my cursor on. I'm sorry. Those center blue dots. That's that fine tuning we were talking about. So again, when we're in, I remember when I first started using it, people were using it for entertainment, and that's fine, or to be creative. But we didn't realize you can go on the back end of it and tell it, I want you to be less creative. I need more accurate answers. I don't need you to be creative. I'm not writing a poem. I need help with this paper I'm writing about the effects of climate change. So I need data. the internet. Oh, it's not connected to the internet. The newer models are. But at the same token, it's not, you don't want it to turn into Google because we got Google. So it still has to use that information in a conversational manner. Um, and this is on Medium. I put the link in the chat, but this is like more layman information in here with images that help people understand how it works. Learning, that's the key part. As we engage with it, we're teaching it certain things that gets rid of some of the biases that may be built in. And I think when people hear the term bias, they're taking that as a word like, say, prejudice, or, it's leaving out poor people's information, or, people in this part of the world, or women, it's leaving their information out, or people who may have disabilities. That's a different type of bias. Like, I'm not saying it's not intentional, but if that data wasn't in there, that is a sort of bias. Whether it's not in there on purpose, I can't see that being the case, because these companies are in what business to make money. They want everybody's dollar. Disabled, short people, poor people, black people, white people, they want all of your money. So to leave you out of it would not make sense, intentionally anyway. I guess socially it could be used to hurt people, disregard people, but from a business standpoint, that's not good. We'll do this another day. How they tokenize words and text, how the actual neural network inside it works. But let's just go to something real quick, just to answer another issue people were having about I guess it being an expert, right? They said it's not an expert, or
No, they said it was God.
no, you said it was.
Well, no, I mean, I've heard. I
Okay.
might have started it, but I've heard other people say it, and then I want to
This,
get back in there when you get a chance.
yeah, this is the back end of a custom GPT.
Right.
This is me fine tuning a GPT in ChatGPT for me, right? This is based on cybersecurity. I gave it instructions on how to deal with any prompt I put in there. I gave it instructions. These conversations, those are just if somebody else uses it, it's an example of what they could ask it. But here's my knowledge base. It could be my textbooks. It could be PDFs from the government, from cybersecurity agencies. This is what I want it to base its responses on when I deal with it. I made one, I think, early on called Egyptian Expert. I don't know anything about Egypt. I started off, I'm not even saying it's an expert. It was a title just to, it was a catchy title. But you can ask it, what is the process for me to research certain items? But since I know in this case, I want all my prompts to be about, my responses to be about cybersecurity, I can input these are all PDFs. I think you can put 20 PDFs in here. It's also going to browse the web. It's also going to browse the web. If I wanted to generate an image, it can do that, or interpret code. You guys were talking about code. So this is the back end of a GPT, custom GPT in ChatGPT. They're all, you can make one for yourself. You don't have to use the generic version. That's what I'm saying.
Does that mean that it's going to get it right, or that is just different?
You give it a way better chance of getting it right, because I'm telling it specifically what to base its answers on. Is one of them is the information I input, right? And two, it's going to also browse the web. So we have to go right now. This is what's available. We can't go back 2 years ago and go, yeah, when it first came, yeah, none of this was available 2 years ago. People still have old concepts. I heard that it only does what you tell it to do. It can't do any further research. That's not true either. I'm gonna show you another screen, but this one right here is just the back end of a custom GPT that has specific instructions from me based on these PDFs on the topic that I chose to put in here. So now, anytime I ask it a question, that's what it's based on. This is what it looks like on the front end, by the way, right here, like a regular Chat GPT. But this is what's behind the scenes. That's where we're at now. So let's go to what is this one called? I'll find that one for you. It is called I believe it's called Auto GP. I got too many windows open. But I'm gonna show you that one. Let me find my auto GPT. Actually, I'll just share the screen.
And
Auto
just for
GPT.
a correction earlier, real quick. I just want to make a correction earlier. That Purdue University, because it didn't say it in the article, and that's what I mean by trying to get the correct information. I'd rather have the correct information than misinformation. The correct information was in that Purdue University article where it said it got 52% of the information wrong. Those were coding and programming questions that it got wrong per se. So it wasn't like 2 + 2 is 4 or you know other types of questions. It was specifically coding questions that Purdue University asked it, and it got 52% of those questions wrong. Go ahead. Thanks, Sosa. Go ahead.
All right. Yeah, I'm
Hitz.
trying to go as fast as I can too, so everybody can get in there. All right. This is I'm gonna find the actual auto GPT also so you can see what it looks like. Auto, I wish it could type for me. It would if I if I
They would
turned
probably
on the
get it wrong.
speech. Yeah, no, if you turn yeah, if you turn on
Y'all
the
not keeping up with the comments. They've been commenting like crazy.
yeah,
Where everybody
I
at?
yeah, they was in there acting up a little while ago. I can't.
What's
Okay,
acting
here we
up?
go.
I'll determine if it's acting up. Let me
All
see.
right. All right. So let me share this screen. We're gonna use something called we won't use it, we'll just look at it real quick. But just so people can see what I'm
Oh yeah,
talking
that's
about.
just Sean and Said going at it. Yeah,
All
they
right.
just going at it.
This right here is called Agent GPT, right?
Even
Thanks,
Sean just
Miss Lisa.
And again,
What'd
this
you
is
say?
where
Hold on. What'd you say, Said? Said jumped in and said something. Hold on one
I,
second.
I,
What'd you say, Said?
I haven't said a word to Sean. Sean
Oh
just
yeah, no,
wilding
it's
out.
like yeah. I didn't mean like you doing it now. I mean like this just discourse back and forth between y'all. Y'all known each other a lot longer than I have. So
That's my boy.
I'm not
That's my
gonna get
boy.
involved in that. Yeah. Go ahead. Go ahead. Hitz.
all right. This is a can I get that out of there? All right. This is basically like a auto GPT. It functions, you give it a goal. Like your goal may be
Where'd
to
you get this
reduce.
from? Where'd you get this from? What is this?
It's called Agent GPT. You could put it in
No,
Google.
I'm saying, listen,
No. It's a website.
you
I'm getting,
know, but they don't know.
yeah,
So what is Agent GPT? What is that?
it's a website. That's what I'm getting ready to say. There,
Okay.
I heard people say that you can't use it to research or to continue on its own. It does what you tell it to do, then that's it, and it's done. Auto
Okay.
GPTs don't work like that. I'm gonna go back to just the Auto GPT screen, just so we can kind of get an idea of what it does. But I would like to read it to you instead of and then we're gonna look at one more thing real quick. Stop it.
ChatGPT is God, and it knows y'all are talking about.
All right. This 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 one actually just let it go through the functions, right? This creates its own task. I don't have to tell it how to go through the process of creating a comprehensive report on a Nike company. I don't have to tell it do this, gather that, and it's going to go automatically through each task. This is the free version, and this is based off 3.5. If you pay for it and you base it on a newer model, you can get more runs or cycles that it will actually. Let's just read it. It
So
created
why are we
one.
using this instead?
Now hold on, because it depends on what you want to use it for. This is
Okay.
just to answer the other question that I think Asar said. You can only
Who?
ask it. Asar. I think I
Who
heard
is
on
that?
his channel. He's with Wuja now.
Okay.
He said you can only give it a prompt and it's only going to answer the question. It's not going to further research. It's not going to look into it in any more detail. That's not true. The
Right.
simple prompt here was create a comprehensive report. It created 1, 2, 3, 4 tasks.
Tasks.
It's going to
Okay.
go through one. It shows you which one it's executing. Finish it. Finish task 1, task 2.
And then
It's
it added
generate.
one.
Yeah.
Okay.
And again, this is the free version based on the older 3.5 model. If you get a newer model and pay for it, it will go through these steps. If it runs across an issue, it will go out to the internet, find newer answers. It will correct itself. You can come back to this. They have some that run hours at a time. Like if you have a huge company, if you have one of these on your databases and you're trying to get some, you can just set them up to run and they can run hours at a time. And
behind the scenes, is this what ChatGPT does essentially?
No, ChatGPT is more like it's a language model. It's conversational. It's
And
trying
this is
to
what?
respond to you. This is
This is
an
more strict.
auto.
This is more
This is
technical.
an auto. It's called
Okay.
Agent GPT, but it's an auto GPT by nature. That's what I'm trying. Okay, here we go. Let me share.
So
Just
the
so I can.
difference between an auto GPT and a LLM is what specifically?
Gotcha. Hold
Like
on.
the
One
main
second.
difference.
All right, here we go. You see my screen?
Yeah, there we go. And link that article. Please.
All right. But Auto GPT, let's go down here. Auto GPT can self-prompt. Remember, someone said it can't prompt itself. That's not true. You giving it a task or an initial prompt, it can do that. But yeah, I'll tag this. I'll put this in there.
Yeah, link this article. You know, I'm gonna play a commercial when you're done. Then I want to get into how ChatGPT passed the bar exam.
Gotcha. But yeah, that's so there are auto GPTs that can run and correct themselves and respond to their own prompts that they generate in the process of completing the task that you give it to complete overall, not just answer a question. Like that question in the auto or the agent GPT was, and we'll just look at that and then we'll let you do your commercial. I just want you to see what the original one.
Well, we do our commercials, ain't mine.
Well, you know what I mean. Okay.
Yeah.
This was the original prompt. Create a comprehensive report. So that's all of that auto generated, and you can see the process it went through. A language model is more. This is not conversational.
Right.
Yeah, this is.
So do you think some of the challenges?
Yeah.
Right. I get it, because I was about to say this looks more like code almost. But so with ChatGPT 4, would you say some of the errors are because it's trying to have a conversation versus just giving us the information? I got a headache, Miss Lisa. That's why I'm chewing this gum. Be honest with you. If you ever see me chewing gum, it's because I got a headache. I'm trying to concentrate.
Yeah, this
much
dry
computer time in my life.
information. This dry information will give you.
Yeah, reading all of this gives me a headache. I'm doing this.
So
just
and that's what I'm saying. We always should bounce back to the simpler questions. Yes, it can be wrong. They knew it could be wrong. 2, it's not a search engine like Google. 3, it can auto generate itself and keep itself in line and double check itself. It can be connected to the internet, and it can be fine-tuned for specific tasks. I showed y'all that on the back end of one that I made. For anybody, maybe one day we'll make one. We'll grab some people out, out of the chat and make some custom ones for them to use, based on, any particular topic. So those are some of the general things we covered with just some information. I'm good.
Okay. You would try media. Give us 40 seconds of your life.
DQ. Look. Dumping my swisher guts on my high school diploma. Knowing I'm highly educated from my aroma. Don't know where it's coming from, but I know it's marijuana. And you can smell the leaves in the room. Check. Look. I got a new weed strand, come from New Zealand. And it's a new weed brand from my new weed man. Connected to the growers, I'm a true weed fan. I'm a true weed stan. Green thumb and green hands. Jammin' Leaf Village, I'm a cool geek, man. I got a smooth freak who chillin' for a cool week, man. Running through them papers like a Newsweek stand. Cause all my cushions funkier than Juneteenth bands. I'm selling 3.5s to 3 or 4 guys.
Peace to you, DQ. Like I said, DQ will be performing. Look up treesdallas.com. He'll be performing out during the Texas tour with Devin the Dude. He got a Wu-Tang section. He would pop up right there, right when we play it. So what you think about the conversation so far, DQ? I think we've revealed that ChatGPT is not God. And that was my only point. I didn't have a whole bunch of points. So what do you say?
I would say people fear what they don't understand. This is something that's brand new. One thing I love about Hitz, which he got me involved with it. No one's an expert right now. It's too brand new. So get into it, learn as much as you can, and you can be ahead of the curve. But yeah, I just boil it down to what when people don't understand something, they come up with their own theories, they attach their own narratives to it without actually diving into the actual mechanics of the system. But yeah, it's a great tool. If we learn to utilize it right, you can make a lot of money. You can alleviate a lot of issues and pressures that you might have. But ChatGPT is a great tool, but it is not God, my
No,
DOG.
and don't worry, and don't worry, you can smoke if you need to.
This nigga's
it's
funny.
not, this is not a smoke-free zone. Yeah,
Can only
in your
smoke
mouth.
in the comfort of your own stream.
Yeah, smoke in the comfort of your own home. So, Stellar or Sosa? So Sosa asked me to, and this is per Reuters. Sosa asked me to look up, and I know we kind of boring y'all. This ain't like our normal content, but we like to have our private conversations publicly sometimes. So sit back and relax, or come back and reference it if you need to. But by all means, don't use this to try to kill somebody else or win some kind of argument. We don't want to be like the drive by, the bullets in the gun or some drive by or something like that. Y'all more than welcome to do drive bys on us, but I don't want to. Actually, I don't care. Kill somebody if you want to. Stellar or so-so? The ChatGPT bar exam performance sparks differing opinions. So I remember this conversation. An MIT doctoral student says the AI performance on the bar exam is overstated. Researchers who tested the latest ChatGPT version on the bar exam stand by their findings. So as you know, in methodology or science, when they're going back and forth, you're going to have different reviews based on almost the same information sometimes. So when OpenAI rolled out the latest version of ChatGPT in March, one particular statistic put the legal profession on its heels. The artificial intelligence technology outperformed 9 out of 10 human test takers. But a PhD candidate at the Massachusetts Institute of Technology, MIT, now says that ChatGPT's bar exam performance that put it in the 90th percentile of test takers has likely been overstated, and that the chatbot actually lands in the neighborhood of the 68th percentile of real test takers, a conclusion that the original researchers reject. So it passed the bar exam, but that they're just disputing whether it ended up in the 90th percentile. The percentile debate is centered on how the researchers who first looked at the bar exam's performance calculated its score percentile. GPT's uniform bar exam score 297 would have landed the program in the 90th percentile among those who took Illinois' February 2019 bar exam, the benchmark cited by the original researchers. But Illinois' July bar exam would have yielded a more accurate comparison because the February exam typically draws a larger percentage of those retaking the exam after failing and who have lower scores. Measured against a recent July exam in Illinois, ChatGPT would have scored in the 68th percentile, he concluded. The fact that ChatGPT's reported 90th percentile capabilities were so widely publicized might pose some concerns that lawyers and non-lawyers may use GPT-4 for complex legal tasks for which it is incapable of adequately. Oh, okay, let me go back. The fact that GPT-4's reported 90th percentile capabilities were so widely publicized might pose some concerns that lawyers and non-lawyers may use GPT-4 for complex legal tasks for which it is incapable of adequately performing. Chicago Kent law professor Daniel Katz and that state's law professor Michael James Bomarito, that's a cool name, who conducted the original research alongside 2 others, said this week that they stand by their conclusions and the 90th percentile finding. However, they said they plan to correct points of confusion and misunderstanding that have arisen in public discourse. I applaud you for that. In the upcoming final version of the research paper, published on March, it focuses on GPT-4's overall score. OpenAI did not immediately respond to requests. The differing pass rates on the February-July bar exams can be dramatic. For example, the pass rate on Illinois' most recent July exam was 68% compared with 43% for February. So it did pass the bar exam, and I think one of the things that I want to make sure that we cover in these conversations is not that um is not that we're not trying to ban stuff. We're not trying to say something is wrong. I think for me, I'm cleaning up something that I said of saying that it's infallible. When you need an answer, you go to it. When it that it can't be wrong. When you say something is God, essentially it was wrong. But when I said that it was God, I was not pointing to. I was actually being funny, and the people in the pseudo killers will remember these days. I don't know if this is still going on, but I said it was God because there was a time when we were having a free will conversation. Shouts to Marcus and Logic, and in that conversation, every single time somebody would bring up a point, the first thing they would do was go, "This is what ChatGPT said," and we would run with it like, "Okay, this is fact." And then after that, it would be, something else on a completely different subject, and we began to run with it as fact. And I remember, I think it was me and Sosa, matter of fact, and we just started saying like, ChatGPT might as well be God. I mean, you just go to it for compatibilism, you go to it for determinism, you go to it for Egypt, you go to it for Nubia, Bitterman, Kemet. I mean, it goes for every single thing in conversation. And to find out that it can make mistakes is a little disturbing, because I agree with Cedric. If you use it similar to like a Wikipedia, where it's you're using it based on information that you already know, kind of like as a quick resource, I agree. But if you're using it for research, I think you might want to fall back on that. I don't think 100% you want to use it as research. What do y'all want to say in closing? I don't want to go much further than this. Yeah, the good old free will debate. I know y'all remember those times, Sister Safa. I know you do too, Cedric. Those were some interesting mornings. I would wake up to 137 new messages in the Discord. And it just was free will and determinism back and forth. So what do y'all want to say, said, and then I'll close on Hitz. Anything you got said?
I appreciate how Hitz broke how the variety of uses, but I'm specifically dealing with the term and how it's been used around social media the last couple of days. You antagonist, brass. GPT is God. No one is using GPT as God, but we're seeing that those who assume to be gods are being humbled by ChatGPT
all day long. Say that one more time, Cedric. Say that one more time, please.
Nobody thinks that ChatGPT is God, but those who assume to be gods are being humbled by ChatGPT.
Okay, you're on the record. I like that. I like that. I like the way you put that. DQ.
Yep. What's the question again?
Nope. Take us out. Take us out. Take us out, and then I'll go to Hitz. We close it up.
Oh, you said take us out?
No. Any closing thoughts? Then I'm gonna go to Hitz.
Oh, closing thoughts.
We're gonna close on a commercial.
Yeah, most definitely. Learn something, man. Really learn something. Understand what's going on behind the scenes, so y'all can see what's going on in the movie you're watching. Like, it's a whole lot of intricate parts going on behind the scenes to where you can understand the movie better. Don't be scared to jump into the realm of this AI, because it's jumping into the world of reality. It's here. So yeah, make sure y'all support Try Media, DQ Hampton, Kush Cumbers, Exploring Texas Ponds, a bass fishing guide. Let's get it, baby.
Fire. Go ahead, Hitz.
All right, thanks for everybody who stopped in. And whether people choose to use it a lot or not, or their different purposes, just know a lot of companies that you deal with are using it in the background. Libraries, schools, businesses, your everyday life is going to be affected by automated systems that are based on these type of language models and neural networks. So if even if you don't know, you're probably using it, and it's probably doing your life some justice that you may not recognize. So, and also stay updated and upgraded to the newer versions. You don't have to always pay for them. They're nice free versions, you know, of different ones across the web, whether it's Gemini, Claude, Perplexity, ChatGPT. If you keep the updated model, some of the old problems you may have had are going to go away. And probably for the most part, these systems are in the worst state that they're ever going to be. They're only going to get better, more useful, and more creative. So any knowledge of them is definitely of plus to your life. Thanks for stopping.
All right. Peace to everybody. Thank you for stopping through. And
hey, Juju.
We out.
DQ. Look. Dumping my Swisher guts on my high school diploma. Knowing I'm highly educated from my aroma. Don't know where it's coming from, but I know it's marijuana. And you can smell the leaves in the room. Check. Look. I got a new weed strain, come from New Zealand. And it's a new weed brand from my new weed man. Connected to the growers, I'm a true weed fan. I'm a true weed stan. Green thumb and green hand. Jammin' Lee Village, I'm a cool geek, man. I got a smooth freak who chillin' for a cool week, man. Running through them papers like a Newsweek thing. Cause all my cushions fuckier than Juneteenth bands. I'm selling 3.5s to 3 or 4 guys.